Hey, how's it going? In today's video we have another Liger 0, but this one is from Takara. This kit was released in September of 2023 and it cost me 11,000 yen from Yellow Submarine in Akihabara. This Liger 0 is the second model kit to be released in the 40th anniversary line. The first was the Blade Liger and I got a review of that on my channel if you want to check that out. And this line is pretty much redesigns of the main character Zoids. So also being a redesign and from a totally different company, the appearance will definitely look a lot different compared to the Chogokin Liger and the high-end mass model Liger 0. In addition to appearance, the Takara Zoids are all motorized, meaning very limited articulation. But enough of that, let's start the review. Like the Blade Liger, this is also a very unique looking box, with emphasis on the 40th anniversary. And instead of a crazy stylistic box art, we got a nice conservative box art with the model kit itself. Looks like it's panel lined and all decaled up. Also, look at those glowing claws, which is part of the extra gimmicks, though batteries not included. And you're gonna need two different types of batteries, two AAAs and two LR4s. Unfortunate. Well, on the back side of the box, we got a lot of descriptionary text here, which I cannot read, but we got Google Translate, so if you want to just pause and read it, feel free to do so. There's also images showing the motorized function, as well as the LED functions in the claws and eyes, which we'll take a look at later on. But enough of that, let's take a look at the kit itself. But we're starting with the inner frame, which looks very sleek and you can still tell it's Liger 0. In contrast to Blade Liger's inner frame, yeah, Liger 0's is much more pleasant to look at. Also, after building the inner frame, though some parts such as the motor and some pieces of the legs are the same albeit different color, majority of the inner frame is completely different. And when viewing the inner frame, this is a good time to point out a lot of the metallic pieces are pre-painted, just like the Blade Liger, adding a lot of color to the kit. And though a lot of the armor pieces will cover some of it up, I do appreciate the extra level of detail they put on these kits. Most of the paint job is within the line and they look pretty good, but there were some parts that they left some streaking or they painted onto the white. Not a big deal, but I need to point that out. Overall, the inner frame looks really good. It's built on top of the motorized platform, just like the other Takara kits. And despite being a really big motor, it's still hidden very well. You can barely tell it's there. And while we're viewing the inner frame, just look at all the mechanical detail that is there. And the pre-painted metallic parts are quite eye-catching. Despite not being fully armored yet, the design of the kit is very well done. But now with armor fully equipped, fully armored up, it looks even better. Not too drastic of a redesign compared to the Chogokin Liger 0, but still very in line to what the high-end master model looks like. And currently this kit is complete straight build. I did not panel line it or did I put on any stickers, with the exception of putting the Liger 0 sticker onto the base. There are several other stickers you can use to put on the armor if you wish. It's not a heavy sticker kit, so that's pretty good. In addition, it's a pretty easy build. I highly recommend it for beginners. There's not too many runners. The plastic is also quite soft, so it doesn't leave any stress marks or nub marks. You're also given this tool, just like the Blade Liger, to tighten these parts over here. They come in 3 unique sizes, 2 of which can be handled by that tool, and the third one can be twisted on with your hand. And just like the Blade Liger, you can store this tool inside the action base that comes with the kit. At the end of the build, you're left with these extra pieces, which you can just throw out. They're not needed for anything. Overall, the build only took 5 hours, and you're left with an exceptionally beautiful looking kit. The Liger 0 has pretty good surface level detail, and though I didn't do it myself, I personally recommend panel lining it. There's an abundance of mechanical elements found throughout the kit, and though I thought a lot of the armor would cover up all the pre-painted parts, I'm happy to say that I'm wrong. You can actually see a lot of it still, giving it a lot of colored part separation, which adds good contrast onto the kit considering it's mostly white and black. And in my opinion, I prefer this type of Liger 0 design over the Chogokin Liger 0. Don't get me wrong, I like that sleek design, but this one reminds me of the old anime I watched. And if you're wondering, here it is next to a side-by-side comparison with the high-end master model Liger 0. Sorry about the old footage, I didn't want to take the Liger 0 out again, it will just explode. And though the high-end master model Liger 0 still looks very good, compared to its modern Takara counterpart, you can see it's a little outdated. Of course it's not a fair comparison, but it's nice to see the differences between the years apart. But having them side by side, what do you prefer? I can confidently say that the appearance looks absolutely fantastic. I am loving these updated redesigns for the 40th anniversary Zoids. But unfortunately, it is a Takara Zoid, meaning very limited articulation. So let's fiddle with it and see what can move. First things first, we got the cockpit force, which could only open up this much. Revealing the pilot figure. Kinda wish the cockpit hatch opened up more because you can actually move up and down the harness, which is pretty neat. Next we got the mouth and head, which can move up and down. Not really for articulation, but it's mostly for the motorized function. Next up, the mane on the side of the head could open up this far. This piece underneath the chin could be repositioned, but it's mostly for the motorized function as well. and the claws function the exact same way like the blade Liger, all loosey-goosey. Now on the body there are these fins on both sides, which are able to flip up and down, though be careful because the hinge is kinda tight, so don't apply too much force or you might snap it. Now up top on the body we got the boosters. That has a moving mechanic that allows the thrusters to extend slightly whenever you open up the boosters, which are pretty fun to play around with. Lastly we have the tail, which is able to move up and down, and pretty much that's it. Unless you twist each individual section, there's really no movement here. Hey, remember it's a Takara Tomy kit, not a high-end master model. They're completely different, so you're not going to get the high-end master model articulation. But you do get some unique accessories and extras, so let's take a look at those. Firstly, we get the display base that comes with it, and like I showed earlier, you can store that little tool underneath. There's a peg underneath the Liger 0 over here that the peg goes right into, and though it can hold the Liger 0 up, the attachment isn't that strong. Next up, this kit does come with a pilot figure, and unfortunately, it doesn't come painted. But hey, it's not a generic pilot figure, it's actually BitCloud. Might be a little hard to see, but yeah, that's Bit. Pretty cool how they molded one for us. And lastly, it's motorized, so let's check that out. Get yourself a small Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to need 2 AAA batteries. Screw back that cover and then hit the switch on its butt. And just like the blade Liger, it's a pretty loud motor. Movement's a bit clunky, but better than the burning Ligers. A lot faster too. And when on its display base, it's easier to see all the moving gimmicks that are happening. Takara Tomy has definitely been getting better at their motorized kits. Seeing all those small little movements that go throughout the kit makes you really appreciate the engineering that went into this. I mean, motorized kits don't really appeal to me. I prefer articulation for better posing, but that's just me. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, the Zoid also comes with some LED gimmicks. And this coincides when you turn on the motor. You got an LED that shines right through the cockpit area, looking pretty bright. It also lights up in the back of the mouth, as well as a little bit through the chest area. But that's not all. The kit also comes with an additional pair of front claws. The claws themselves are clear yellow because they actually house LEDs. You're going to need your small Phillips head screwdriver again. And you're going to need a pair of LR44 batteries, one for each paw. And before you reassemble anything, test to see if the LED works. And during reassembly, just remove the claws because it'll make it easier for you to screw in the cover. Thankfully, Takara Tomy made these very interchangeable with the existing claws. All you gotta do is undo these 2 gear pieces. Then you swap the claws for the LED ones and then redo these gears. Et voila. And yeah, they are actually quite bright. And here's what it looks like with all the LEDs on. Looks pretty cool. And all the pitch black, you can see how extremely bright the light is. Then if you're curious, here's what the LEDs look like if it's not completely pitch black. The LED elements are pretty cool, but they're just not for me. And that's what you'd be getting if you bought this kit. But you also may be wondering, is it solid? Aside from the tail, yes, absolutely. As for dimensions of the kit, for just the height it's 8.5 inches or 21 centimeters, give or take. With the base it's around 9 inches or 22.86 centimeters. And the full length is 17.5 inches or around 44 centimeters. As for size comparison, here it is next to its fellow 40th anniversary Zoid, the Blade Liger. And as you can see, they're very similar in size. Next up we got the entry grade ARC-72, master grade ARC-72, the Shensing Technology White Tiger, and the high-end master model Rev Raptor. Next we got Haro, Doraemon, DK, Charmander, Exodia the Forbidden One, and a Gachapon. As for shelf presence, we run into an issue. Being 17.5 inches long, it can't fit in the detail. And if I do it diagonally, I can't put another figure. So I just took off one section of its tail so it has a stumpy tail, and now it fits perfectly with the Blade Liger. It's a Zoid, so pretty good shelf presence. Alright, reviews finished. What are my final thoughts for this kit? I actually like it a lot. It's an easy to build kit, which I highly recommend for beginners. And the end result is a very beautiful looking kit. And like always, I appreciate the pre-painted parts. It adds an extra level of detail onto the kit, and it shows how much effort they put into engineering this. And though I never put decals or panel line it, I would highly recommend that you do so. It's got a lot of surface level detail, just asking for some panel lining. And the decals will break up all that white. The kit is still pretty expensive, but I think at this point all Zoids are expensive. Unfortunately, it's not posable because it is a motorized kit. Even with the lack of articulation, at least it's still a very solid kit. And though I'm not a big fan of LED gimmicks, it's still pretty cool to have it. So should you pick it up? Well, I would actually say yeah, it's a 40th anniversary Zoid. It's kind of special in its own way. Actually, I redact that statement. It's very special. I suspect it is a limited edition. Not quite sure if they're gonna make more. Regardless, it still celebrates the 40th anniversary. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you like it. I enjoy making it. Let me know what you think. Would you actually get this kit? Why or why not? As for me, I am loving these 40th anniversary Zoids. It's a big switch up from, constantly building high-end mass models. I'm looking forward to the Motorized Liger that's about to be released next year. And I might actually get the Shield Liger and the Hunter Wolf as well. It's pretty good to be a Zoids fan right now. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.